Hi guys, Literary Prepper back again. Just a quick sort of side note before we jump into this video. We finally have our merchandise page up. So if you guys want to support this channel in a non-donational way, I will pop a link in the description box below and you guys can jump on there. We've got t-shirts, we've got phone covers, all sorts of bits and pieces that you can sort of pop around your office to make it look a little bit more jazzy. And you guys can support this channel by, obviously showing people that you support us in a physical, tangible form. Anywho, so jumping right in, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was a little food fail that I had on the weekend. So I basically wound up going into the supermarket and they had this big bag of rice. I think it was like a 25 kilo bag of rice that somehow, during sort of the, unpacking process, someone had put a box cutter through the top of the bag that the rice was in, and they'd just sort of taped it up and marked it down. So instead of charging, something like $30 for the bag of rice or however much it was normally, I picked it up for about 12. So just keep your eye out for little things like that. There's nothing wrong with the actual rice itself. It's just the bag was cut, so it looked like a little bit had spilled out. I'm not gonna get caught up over a couple of lost grams here and there, especially when it's marked down less than half price. I thought that was a pretty decent bargain, but I did not want to store a big bag of rice like that for obvious reasons. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, pests can easily get in, and people kind of get weirded out when you start stocking just big bags of rice without any rhyme or reason. So I repackaged my rice and stuff into Mylar bags, and I've sort of recently gotten my shipment from Amazon, so I was all excited to get in and start dividing up my beans and my rice and whatnot. And then I left my bags on my dining table for a couple of days just to sort of let them settle and do their thing, and was a little bit disappointed. Now, I've checked the seals on all of these and they look, like I, sealed them relatively well. I was using a hair straightener. My my clothes iron, was broken. Long story short, it got moisture affected and we kind of needed to get a new one, but I used my hair straightener to seal my Mylar bags. So this is one that worked out really well. As you can see, it sucked in on itself and it's relatively firm. So that one will be going away in a plastic box and, not to be sort of looked at again for a very, very long time. So this one I'm happy with. This little guy over here, on the other hand, you can sort of see he hasn't sucked in on himself, and it still feels like a floppy bag of rice. So I've checked the seal. I'm pretty sure it's sealed really well. There's a couple of spots that I'm a little bit iffy about where there may be some pinholes in the plastic. Maybe that was the issue, but it's not just one bag, which makes me think it's the actual oxygen absorbers themselves that didn't work. So the bags that I'm not happy with, I will be cutting the seal again, and I'm probably going to put these into glass jars this time rather than into Mylar bags. And I don't feel good about throwing this away because, let's be honest, it's a little bit wasteful. So I'll probably hang on to these, and anything that, I'm a little bit sort of less attached to, or that probably just needs a little bit of protection rather than a full-on seal. I'm thinking like maybe some salt or sugar or, something along those lines that doesn't desperately need to be oxygen sealed. Probably reuse the bag for something like that. So yeah, not happy with that, and yeah, those are going to be going into glass jars, and I'll be ordering a different brand of oxygen absorbers in the future. Unfortunately, I was not smart and I threw the bag out before I could take note of what brand it was, so I will be trawling through my emails to try to find my Amazon receipt. So that's what happened with my rice and my beans. So while I was doing that, I thought I would take the opportunity to have a look through the rest of my cupboards and just sort of have a look at what else I had and what was sort of getting into quantities where I had to think about repackaging them. And I came across a couple of packets of pasta that I was really not happy with. I was not happy with these because it looks like something has tried to have a little bit of a nibble on the plastic. The pasta itself looked fine. It didn't look like anything had actually started to eat the pasta. It just chewed on the outside plastic. The cupboard that the pasta was in is not sort of somewhere where mice can necessarily easily get in, so I'm thinking maybe like cockroaches or something like that. We've got a few pantry moths flying around, so I really need to stay on top of our pest issues at the moment, because the weather is very pest friendly, and they do like to get into all sorts of little hidey holes where we keep our food and stuff. So unfortunately it's one of those things where a lot of my things like flowers and all the rest of it, they wind up going into the freezer for several days before I repackage those, because they often come straight from the shop with all sorts of nasties riding in on them. So with my pasta, I had a couple of these lying around that I hadn't sort of put stuff in yet, and there's about 3 packets of pasta and fettuccine that I snapped up and like literally like snapped. You can see they're all different lengths. They wouldn't fit in whole, and just sort of slotted those into the jar. So I'm pretty sure I got like 2.5 or 3 packets of pasta into each of these jars. So that's the way that I think I will be going moving forward with a lot of my stuff. My failed rice, my pasta, I'm actually tempted to just put everything into glass jars, because I trust these a lot more than the Mylar bags. Obviously, if you drop it, you're going to break it, and that's going to be less than ideal. However, we don't plan on dropping things, and you know, obviously keeping pests out is a lot more of a real sort of occurrence, regular occurrence, than dropping all of your glass jars at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. I would probably recommend thinking about doing something similar if you're in a hot, humid climate like we are. So yeah, I just wanted to share my food fail with you guys, because chances are, if I've done it, so have you, or at some stage you may do. So happy food storing, and if you guys found this useful or you know whatever, feel free to like, share, subscribe. As I said, we've now got our merchandise lines, so we will be continuing to develop those. I'll pop the link down below and you guys can have a sticky, and yeah, as usual, you can also find us on Patreon if you're more comfortable with that side of things. Feel free to comment below if you have any questions, or if you've got your own food fails that you'd like to share with us. And yeah, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys later.